I'm going to start with Kevin. Kevin, let's jump in. Kevin came on my schedule as a new agent, and one of the things that we talked about was geofarming. And one of the strategies of a good geofarm is door knocking. He jumped right into it, decided this was going to be a lead pillar, and started door knocking almost immediately, becoming an agent. So, Kevin, introduce yourself. Tell us where you work and how's it work, and how's door knocking working for you?
Okay, well, my name is Kevin Wells. I work for Next Home Thrive. I'm a realtor out. I work Orange County, basically, so like Brea, La Habra area. I was introduced to door knocking. I really thought it was great. The idea of getting really, the first thought to me was like, oh, okay, I'm not behind a desk. I can actually get out and walk and meet people face to face. You know, not just on a phone call, but you're out there meeting people. Now, I was a little apprehensive in the beginning. You know, I do have a fear of dogs at times. You know, but you know, everybody has their dogs and whatnot. But it was a real positive experience for me. So what I did was I'll tell you a little bit about what I door knock with. I basically grab my backpack. I have my GPS with me. I have my GeoFarm, my list of places I want to walk. I'm kind of old school. I keep little 3x5 cards with me and a pen in my pocket. I have all my mailers in the back, you know, my backpack. I have a really good idea I got from Mike was I bring rubber bands and a stapler. And the reason for that is as I get to a door, if they do not answer, I can clip, staple the rubber band onto the mailer and hang it onto the door. Because basically anything that is on the ground or falls on the ground, that's considered trash. You know, and you're not trying to mess up people's, you know, their neighborhoods. You want to keep it nice, right? I always wear my logoed shirt, you know, so they know who I am, where I'm from, all that kind of stuff. Comfortable shoes, keep some water with me, and I have a very short script, which is, I go out once a quarter and I give them quarterly equity updates. And it's a very short script. I go up to the door, I knock on it, and I hand them over, and I said, "This is your quarterly equity update," you know, and and I start to walk away. What's really now, I know a lot of people are thinking, "Oh, okay, well, maybe they're a little if you're afraid of or apprehensive about door knocking because you don't know how they're going to get the response." Well, I've done this 2 quarters in a row, and the response I get from people that do answer the door is it's a way more positive than I thought it would be. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to be as positive. I get comments like, "Oh my gosh, I respect the fact that you're walking door to door and not just calling me. You know, I know who, you know, I get to see who you are." I get, and a lot of times they'll ask me certain questions. They'll ask me questions about real estate, and once they start asking that questions, we're engaged, and we'll have a real estate conversation. I already have one client that I've gotten from door that was specifically from door knocking. Because I met this person. She didn't want to open up the screen door. I always stay back to keep people feeling safe, but she's like, we're renting this place. We're thinking about finding a place. So it was real positive. I actually really love door knocking on Saturdays because people have garage sales. And when I walk up there, there's like 3 or 4 people there. And, I'm like, "Hey, in the neighborhood here," and I give them a conversation. This is an equity update of what's happening in the neighborhood. So it's been real positive. So yeah, so I did talk to you a little bit there. Most people, the whole time I've done 1,000 houses. Every quarter I do 1,000 houses. I have not once had somebody yell at me or curse me out like the same as I do when I make my calls for expireds. It's I think when you're face to face, you can sense if they're not interested, or I've had a card given back to me saying, well, I don't want you to waste your card or something like that. But for the most part, it is smiles. I had one lady even tell me that she goes, I appreciate you coming up to the door and handing me this. I'm sick and tired of this one real estate agent who just fills up my mailbox. So that's pretty much it. I think it's just real positive. Unless you guys have any questions for me, that's pretty much my spill on door knocking.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
And you mentioned something that you're doing the Saturdays, and that you sometimes see open houses, and it gives you opportunity, and that means they're out in their driveway, obviously, or not open houses, garage sales.
Mhm.
Have you ever asked them why they're having a garage sale? Or because I ask because I did coach an agent one time that he told me when I onboarded him, one of his lead pillars was that he attends every garage sale in his neighborhood. A, because he likes garage sales, but B, because he'll about once a quarter he'll find someone. The reason they're having the garage sale is they're moving.
Yeah.
So he engages them in a conversation, and if he can get them early enough, then he can talk about possibly listing their house. So keep that in the back of your mind. They might be having the garage sale because they're thinking of moving.
Yeah. Oh, and I have not. And that's actually a good point. I'm going to start doing that. The one that I usually get is, oh, I'm just a renter. And I never let them slide when they say there's just a renter. I go into a conversation with them about, getting them to talking about, well, why haven't you have you ever thought about, owning your own place? And actually, one of those conversations resulted in a very long real estate conversation. I'm working on getting that person to be a client, and so they're starting to show activity. So it's great.
So no door
I have
slams,
a
nobody
question.
cussing
Oh,
you
sorry.
out, none of that.
No, I do not get any door slam. Everything has been, it's real nice, and you get your steps in, so it's good. It's healthy.
And you get your steps in. Maritza, what did you have?
I have a question now. So thank you, Kevin, for sharing that. I wanted to ask you, how are you going to pivot your door knocking now? If you do come across a buyer, are you carrying around your buyer broker agreements?
Oh, okay. So I am not carrying my buyer broker agreements with me. What I do is I do get their contact information, and then I send it out to them to set up an appointment. So I use it to get to start up an appointment. I haven't sent a buyer broker agreement, but I'm not saying that's not a bad idea. I haven't.
Awesome. Nor, you got a
Yeah.
question?
You said you had a really quick script. Are you giving them and you said you're giving them like an equity report? Is it customized for their home or is it just a general equity report?
Oh, it's customized for their area. So I work with the title company that I work with, and say I grab the homes in a specific area, so I can title that card or that flyer for their area. So like I live in what they call the Corskin Villas. So I make a card specifically for the Corskin Villas. And then when I go around, the picture is showing a picture of the Corskin Villas, and it shows the homes that sold in that area.
Okay, so it's not specific for that home where you're like, hey, this home is this many square feet, it has a pool. It's just for the community.
Yeah, it's for the community, but on that I show like 7 or 8 homes that have sold in that area during that quarter.
How many homes do you target and what's the time frame?
In a quarter, once a quarter, I try to hit 1,000 homes, and it usually takes me. I usually walk Tuesday, Wednesdays, and I switch over closer to Friday or Saturday, simply because I found for my neighborhood that, well, I mean, I would assume most neighborhoods would be like this, but people are out, and when they're out, they're quick to to talk to me and stuff like that, and they're curious. So I do it like 3 days a week for 2 weeks, and I try to hit all those homes.
How many homes are you doing in a day?
I can hit about 100, and like it depends on the neighborhood how close the homes are. Like one of my neighborhoods with the condos, I could hit like I've actually hit 250 in one day with my one neighborhood I'm in. Then there's the other neighborhood with a bunch of houses that takes me some time. So I can hit maybe I'll hit 100 to 150.
Yeah.
but I am older, walk a little bit slower. I don't know. You know?
So how
And
much
it
time
also
does
depends
that
on the
take you?
conversations I have.
Yeah. How
Mhm.
much time do you allocate for it typically on average?
I kind of treat it like my expired calling. So what I do is like I will start around 9 and go to 12, except for on Saturdays. I'll go maybe like 10 and I try to get it done by noon.
Okay, thank you.
Robert.
Appreciate that. I thought the
I
same
think you
thing.
might have hit this already, but I was just, did I miss your conversion? How many escrows you've opened so far with this tactic, this strategy?
This is actually a new tactic for me because I'm a very new agent. So right now I've gotten a client and I'm getting a lot of activity where I'm making appointments, but I'm still very new at it. Because right now, I only sold one house in January. And so I'm in the very, very beginning.
Okay,
I
it'll
think
pay off.
you've done it. You've done it 2 times. Is that right, Kevin? You've done 2 rounds.
Oh yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah.
So he's only done it 2 times, brand new, just getting started on it, which is actually a great pivot. Thank you, everybody, for the great questions. To Svet, who has been an agent a little bit longer and a little more. I've been doing door knocking for a while and a little different kind of a twist. So Svet, introduce yourself. Tell us all where you're at. How warm is it, and what's your door knocking strategy?
Hey guys, my name is Svet Savov. I'm from Toronto, Canada. And I'm in real estate for about 12 years. So I probably am doing door knock last 5 years. So I door knock 3 types of door: expired, just sold, in my farm area. So usually I try to do 4 days door knock, and I start 9 to until noon. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Monday and Friday, I don't do door knock. So I have different scripts, depends the door. But most of the time, what I'm trying to do is just pretend that I'm in the area and I'm just door knock and ask questions. So usually what I say, hello, my name is Svet. I'm a local realtor and I was in the area. Is it okay to ask you a quick question? And most of the people just like they're expecting to start with the sell, to ask him, are you willing to sell the house or something like that? And when you ask him, can I ask you a quick question? They say, sure, yes. And always I ask, have you heard any rumors of somebody looking to sell a home in your area? Or something like that. And they start thinking.
I like it.
Oh, don't know. We don't know anybody. I said, okay, that's fine. Thank you for taking time to think about it. What about you? How long do you guys live in the area? And we start talking. And that's usually my conversation. Even I do the same script with expireds, because if I try a couple of times and it works really well, because most agents who door knock expires, they ask you, when you guys looking to put a house back in the market and get it sold and something like that. I say, do you know anybody looking to sell? And they like, actually, we're looking to sell. That's the way I start my conversation. So like when I'm walking the doors, I don't carry absolutely nothing with me. I just walk like just doing my regular walk. So when they open the door, they don't see a salesman or salesperson. They just see somebody who's like the way you see me right now, and they don't feel the threat right away. I couple of times try to keep clipboards and all kind of stuff with me. People just, when they open the door, they kind of like, oh my gosh, this guy gonna start selling me something. So I find out I'm just walking like that and ask questions. And the only thing I have my business card that looks like that. And I have a message in the back, handwritten. It says, please call me about your house. And I just stick this in the door. Last year, I got 3 listings. I got with this card. They just call me. They said, I got your card. You asked me to call you. I say yes, because I'm just thinking to ask you a question with the same script. What else to share? Usually I'm trying minimum 50 doors. My conversion is about 25 to 26% contact. So I can always able minimum 50% to talk with people, like 25 conversations on the door. What else?
That's a pretty high conversion. That's good.
Yes, and people are always nice. I don't have any kind of people, yelling, screaming, shooting.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I love how different strategies are working for both of you guys, because these are two completely different strategies and both are performing. I think that's fascinating. This is why you got to try what's working for you in your neighborhood. If you're planning on doing door knocking, try all.
If
As long
Pick
as you
some
show up, I
strategy that-
think everything works. Doesn't matter what you say. If you're if you are kind of always smile, I think everything would work. As long as you're willing to do it.
I have a question. In your experience, what is the best time that you get the most like people being available at home?
Before noon.
Okay.
Couple of times I try to go afternoon. I don't know. I don't see people willing to talk, or they kind of a little bit more nervous or occupied with something, and it's like, and for sure my conversion drops. So I'm always try start 9:30.
Is this weekends or weekdays or both?
So I tried Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That's the best days I found are better. Mondays are and Fridays are, I don't know, I don't have any success. It's really low conversion. Most people are not home.
How many doors do you hit from 9 to 12?
50.
And when they don't answer, you just leave your card stuck to their door.
I just stuck the card at the door, stuck it there. I don't leave anything else.
Interesting. Good job.
I like that both of you are knocking on Saturdays, so I think there's something we should take away from this, that Saturdays in both cases, either strategy seems to be a success day.
Real quick question on my side. You said, Svet, that you had 3 different targets. One was expired, the other was just sold. I didn't catch the third one.
In my farm.
Oh,
I
okay.
have farm area as well. So I'm thinking to start doing market reports in my farm, exactly what Kevin shared. I will start really soon to start doing a market update in my farm area, dropping the market reports.
I had a question too.
I'm glad to hear that, Svet. It's not like we've ever talked about that before.
No, I think this for a long time. I follow a couple of guys in YouTube, actually. They have really good success with market reports.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try this, yes.
Now, you said it was expired. It wasn't just listed. It was expired. FSBOs, right?
Expired, just sold.
Oh, just sold. Okay, got it.
Sold, yes, especially houses that sold quickly.
Got it.
So in my area, I just looked at a house that's sold for 5, 6, 7 days, really quick sell. And neighbors are really excited because they just saw for sale, all of a sudden they saw sold sign. And all this area is really excited, and everybody said, oh my gosh, they sold it so quick. Oh, I don't know how much. And it's, it's a buzz in the area. So
yeah, thanks for clarifying that. I got it now.
And he don't, hey, do you saw your neighbor? They just sold. Oh, how much? Oh, this much. And they start, oh, what about the market? And I said, do you know how much your house worth right now in this market? Oh, I don't know. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I would say that yeah, because I also did a just sold. After I sold one of my houses, the one house I sold in January, I decided to do a walk around that that area, and I made a just sold flyer with like it had like a 3D barcode to capture information also. But it's when they see the picture of me on the flyer, also that's the house, the house that was sold was actually my house, that I actually sold it. I was the actual realtor that sold it. I thought it had a lot of punch to it. And they're like, "Oh, really? You sold that place?" Man, they've been trying to sell that place because I got that from an expired. And they're like, they've been trying to sell that place for a while. So it's kind of nice. So then, since I have that barcode on there, I actually did get activity from that, because when they scan on that, it would go to my website, and I was able to pick up some stuff.
Yeah.
Pick up some prospects or leads. Sorry.
Awesome. That's great. Door knock around just sold. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else tried door knocking? I mean, we got two people both having done door knocking, both of them with slightly different strategies, but neither one's having a negative experience. Is anybody door knocked or afraid to because of the potential negative experience?
I want to get into door knocking myself, but I'm not yet confident in my scripts. And I want to ask, like, when you guys both started, did you perfect your scripts, or did you just get into it and just deal with the issues when they came up, or did you actually study a lot, get your scripts down before you tried anything?
I'll say, because I'm a new guy, I'm not confident either. Okay, I'll just be honest. I'm not confident at all. The only way you build confidence is going out there and doing it. Also, Mike shared with me, reading KCM every morning.
There you go.
Really helps. Okay, so like it just gives you the more you do it, the more confidence you'll build. You get surprised how much information you're retaining. You don't think you have it, but then somebody says something to you, and you just go, and something you read on KCN comes out, or boom, something from your coach comes out, or and fortunately, the first time I did door knocking, I hit a door and I let the guy kind of escape, right? Because I didn't close the deal. And then I listened to a Tom Ferry YouTube, because every morning I either I read my KCM, or I listen to a Tom Ferry podcast, and it was just like, ask for the appointment. Second time I went to his house, he opened the door again, and he remembered me, and I asked for the appointment. And so you're just get out there. You're not going to win unless you fail a few times. So just go for it.
Okay. And how'd you deal with you not knowing the answer, right? Like if they ask you a pretty difficult question, I'm sure I won't know every answer. Do you just tell them oh, I don't know this, so I can get back to you next time about it or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's almost, I'm going to tell you this, Andy, it's almost a benefit, because what it does is it forces me to have this conversation with them later. Because I'll say, I'll get that answer for you. I don't know, but I'll get that answer for you. And then you reach out to them again, and you're having another real estate conversation with them.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Great.
Love
Thank you.
that. And remember, I'm going to add to this, because this is something Kevin and I talked about, especially as him being a new agent. So, Andy, when you're thinking about whether you're going to do it or not, of course, we're going to just do it. But remember, the one that Kevin started with was literally knock, 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 equity update, turn around and walk away. So there's no script to have to rehearse or practice. And I will just cover one thing about this. The reason I like to start with this one is because what everyone's afraid of are the door slammers, right? That's what we don't want to have happen. Well, the people that are going to slam the door in your face are usually drivers because you've interrupted their day and you've altered their routine and they don't have time for you. And so what you're with this knock, knock, knock equity update, walk away, they don't have a chance to slam the door in your face because you've handed them an item of value and now you're walking away. Oddly enough, those analytical drivers, which are probably one of the more difficult personality types to sell to, they will respect you and actually like you. They won't even know why they like you, but they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was different. I have something of value. They're out of my hair. I like that person.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be, it eliminates the possibility of these analytical drivers actually being rude. And then they like you. And then the expressives, and I'm sure Kevin, I'm sure Svet, we can both say, but I know Kevin because he actually did the knock, knock, knock equity update and walk away. Matter of fact, I even had to shorten his script from the first time he tried it. He started introducing himself and things like that. I'm like, no, literally, it's knock, 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 equity update, walk away. But the expressives and the amiables, they're going to stop you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you try to walk away, they're going to be like, oh, do you have a second? What is this? Can you explain this to me, etc. So just do it. Don't overthink it.
Okay, thank you.
I just recently started door knocking, and I last month for Valentine's Day I gave a pop by, and I just happy Valentine's Day, and that was really easy. For St. Patrick's Day I gave out Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies. And so that was really easy yesterday. It's just, happy St. Patrick's Day. And it has, I created like a little card that says happy St. Patrick's Day. Like when you're thinking of selling, call me. But it was easier than I imagined.
Yeah.
So it went good so far. Kevin, what do you say when people say they don't want your card, your postcard? How do you reply?
I usually just take it back. I don't, if they're not interested, I just back away a lot of times, because I'm in their neighborhood. I don't want to be the guy that's, like the annoying guy or whatever. So I just kind of back away. I take their card and back it away. But that's actually out of the 1,000 I've done, I've maybe can say 2 or 3. Have asked, like, they go, and they're very polite about it. They're just like, I don't want to take your card because I don't want you to waste it on me because I'm not gonna. I'm like, okay. And luckily I have those because when there's people, like, if I see people walking, I will talk to them. The one time there was like a child daycare. One of the people that I ended up having a real estate conversation with was like a one of those child daycare places right that was down the street. So I saw them all outside and I just talked to everybody. I just walked up to them and talked to everybody there and gave them a card. So I usually make a few extra postcards just in case I just run into random people, because it doesn't hurt,
Kevin, I don't see you being annoying in any manner. You've got a great personality.
I try not to be.
That helps.
That's awesome. I did see a question about KCN. I'm glad you're reading that every day. Andy, definitely do that too. It's keepingcurrentmatters.com for anybody who wants to know. You do not have to get a subscription. You can get there, just go there. It's keepingcurrentmatters.com/blog if you just want to read their data for free. But I do highly recommend, I read it every single morning. I think everybody should. It's a great way to stay abreast of what's going on, at least as a national interest, because at least it allows you to give an immediate response to a question they'd have. And then, of course, you might have to go back and pull numbers more locally, but it's still great information. So keepingcurrentmatters.com.
Only for USA.
It's only for the U.S., but Svet, everything that happens in the United States affects Canada too, so it's still good to read. It's a good idea to stay abreast of what's happening.
They got a lot of information about Canada from what I understand, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, not much, but I don't know if they're actually working on it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? I thought that was great information. I hope everybody took something away from this. I think
Big
the
high
one thing
five.
that I say And by the way, and I got to say I'm impressed, because when you say, oh, you know, it's too cold, it's too hot, it's too whatever. I mean, when I get on some of these calls with Svet, and I'm saying, so what's the temperature like? How much snow's on the ground? And I guess you're not door knocking this week. He's like, nope, I knocked. What's the coldest you've knocked at?
Last week, because you know I have a small notepad. You know, sometimes I talk with when I talk with somebody, I just write the address. You know, my pen was frozen. I couldn't write. That cold was.
Oh, no.
I thought doing like this, try to write, because it was so cold. And at least, you know, if I put a hat, it's gonna be much better. But hey, I can't walk with a hat and people open up the door. That cold. So I was saying to myself, oh my gosh, if I live in those southern states that always you guys live in the warm weather, I can door knock all day long. All day long.
So California people, no excuses.
No excuses. I
No
can tell you
excuses.
from my experience, this is the best lead generation.
Yeah.
I have over 400 people that I got emails, so I follow up with these people. So tomorrow I have listing appointment with a lady that I follow up from since last year. I door knocked her, and she said, yes, I'm thinking of selling, but next year. I said, what's going to happen next year? She said, we're building a new construction and it's going to be ready next year in March. Okay. So when is the best time to call you back? She said, call me end of the year. But I follow up pretty much every second month. I stop by, drop something. And she called me last week and she said, I'm ready to sell. Can you meet next week and Tuesday? So tomorrow is my appointment. And I said, okay, I'm so excited to meet you. Are you going to interview other agents? She said, no. Great. So yeah, that's and by the way, I just signed a listing agreement right now with another.
Congratulations. So a couple things that I hear in there when I'm listening to Svet describe this is, A, he's collected over the years 400 email addresses of people. Now, these are not purchased email addresses that he got from a title company or something to other. These are people that gave him their email address during the door knock process. So this is somebody where they've opted in. And the second thing is that I heard it's not just about door knocking, it's about the follow-up. Everything's in the follow-up. So don't just go out there and keep door knocking and door knocking and door knocking, because if you're not following up with what people told you in the past, another agent will do that follow-up for you. Don't worry.
100%. There is no such a thing in door knock and they say, yes, I'm looking to sell next week. That's not going to happen. It's all about follow-up, follow-up, follow-up.
Any other questions for our door knocking team? And Angel, I'm so glad that you're door knocking. That's awesome. And you got pop buys. That's a whole nother door knocking strategy, but with pop buys. AJ.
So I went door knocking and it was really interesting. I left a note at every door and one guy called me and we talked on the phone about 40 minutes. And at the end, he said that if you have somebody, bring it. But, you know, I listed my house with another agent for 13 million. And now I think it's 16 million, which I had no idea what the prices were. I was just a nice afternoon. I thought I'd knock at few doors and leave them notes if they are there or talk to them. So anyway, I'm supposed to call him and we go to lunch this week and see if he let me list it. But how do you answer that if, like he says, I don't want to list it because the agents come and they have open house and they don't sell it. If you really can sell it and you have a buyer, bring it to me.
Well, that's a whole nother topic, but I can just answer very quickly, and that is that he's greatly reducing the exposure of the property if he's not going to put on the MLS. It's going to be a secret listing, and the chances of finding the buyer go down dramatically. No one agent has access to all the buyers out there. We need to get maximum exposure for maximum opportunity and to get the highest price. He's gonna leave millions on it. For that price point, he'll be leaving $1 million on the table, possibly, if not more.
I think you could Phil Jones that too and ask him what he understands about the job of a professional real estate agent.
Ooh, I love that, Robert.
Good job,
Great
Robert.
point.
I like
Would
that
would it
too.
be helpful for me to do share some of the things that would help your home sell or get the right eyeballs and kind of go down that road, but really get him talking because he probably is going to say, I really don't know. So far, agents haven't done anything for me. How certain
Exactly.
are you chose work with the right agent?
That's a good one. And for those of you that are newer to Tom Ferry, the Phil Jones was the book is called Know Exactly What to Say, and that's just one component of what he does. He also has a second book, Know Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents. I highly recommend actually both. Why not? And if you want resources to them, text Maria or I have links to the webinars that he did with Tom. Those are great to watch too. Robert is a master of the Phil Jones scripts, and I think, Robert, you would agree that they work. Yes?
Oh, absolutely. I want to be a master. I work on it pretty regularly. I've got the cards.
Yeah, yes, you do. Of course you do.
I
Wow.
don't know if that would
They-
be for you, but
And in summary, Phil Jones he knows exactly what questions to ask to help the consumer make the decision themselves. And that's what really is the master of it. But you have to read the books and watch the webinars to understand how he does that. Okay, any last minute questions?
Robert, where did you get those cards?
Oh gosh. You can go onto the website. I can't remember, but just go Phil Jones, exactly what to say. Look for a website.
Okay.
He's got one. You should be able to order them.
And if you can see this is a cheat sheet that Maria has put together. It's on our Discord server, and this is a bunch of little different question openers.
Okay.
So you can find
There's
that
an
on Discord.
audio book online too, Kevin. That's they took his off. It was free.
Mhm.
Now it's somebody else interpreting it, but it does go through the whole book, and there's a lot of things on YouTube with him.
Oh,
You'll
yeah,
find
I
out
actually-
it's
I got the
question trees.
Audible book. I
Yep.
got the Audible book and I listen to it when I walk in the morning. Just and it's something I feel like you have to listen to over and over again so it sinks in.
Yes, it is. Okay. Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
coaches.
Specifically to Svet and Kevin for sharing us your knowledge and your dynamic different ways that you're door knocking, the successes that you're having. I congratulate Svet on your follow-up. That's awesome that you a year later, that person did not jump out of your database and you stayed on top of them, and now it's going to pay off today. Oftentimes when we're coaching and I hear somebody say, yeah, I went and I did this or I did that, I made my calls, I did this, but nothing really happened. And then we dive into it and find out, well, they said they might be moving next year. I'm like, this is the reason we're doing it. That was a success. Oh, but I'm not going to get a commission next week. You're probably going to want to eat next year. You're probably going to want some clothes or shoes next year. You're probably going to want a commission check next year too. So it's the efforts we do today that are feeding us for the years to come. So just keep that in mind as long as you do your lead follow-up. With that, I will let you all go. We will see you guys on our next coaching call.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
great
very
job.
much.
Thank you.